How to defend against single and double leg takedowns. Great question. I want to give you 5 points of advice on that question right there. So the first thing you want to do is, if they move, you want to move. In fact, I teach that to my students as a maxim for them to go by. If the opponent moves, you move. So in other words, you stand, you're waiting to go. If they shoot at you, you want to move. Now, not necessarily straight back. We'll get into that into point number 2 coming up. All right, so point number 2, you want to move at angles. So again, it comes back to movement. So when I'm sitting out here, instead of going, ooh, I'm just going to go straight back at them, I want to get out of the way. So if they're coming in on this line here, I want to cut off back over this way. So I'm going back at an angle, increasing my distance, and at the same time, I'm getting off of the center line. Because if I go straight back, they could be coming at me too fast and catch me anyhow. So I want to make sure I'm getting out of the way. I can do that by going back at an angle. I can do it by going straight sideways. Or I can do it to where I'm switching legs and coming up out of the round and maybe help them through as they're trying to take my legs out. Point is, cut at angles so that they can't just shoot. If they're going to shoot straight in, cut off of that angle. All right, so number 4, you want to control the range. If you keep a large enough gap that they can't really go in for your legs, that's good. Now, of course, in order to finish the fight, you're going to have to cross through that range. So as you cross into that range, use angles. Move in at angles. So don't just sit there and go straight in. You know, sit there and come offline and keep yourself off of that line they can go in for your legs at. So keep yourself angling and go in as you cross that line. Point number 4. Now, I know the other one I said point number 3, but point number 4. Hit them as they're crossing that range. So use everything else. So as they're coming, if you're going to do any form of angling, make sure you're hitting or something like that as they're crossing that range. Don't sit there and, don't hit them. If they cross that range and they're close enough, hit them as they're crossing that range. That can help destabilize and all sorts of other things like that. So don't forget, you can hit them as they're trying to grab you. All right, and the 5th point is if they get through and they manage to get you and they knock you down, you need to know 2 things. 1, you better know how to fall down. 2, you better know how to wrestle. And if you're doing one of the modern martial arts that only does striking but doesn't involve wrestling, well, then you either need to go find a new martial art that teaches wrestling, or you need to incorporate find time in your schedule to train a wrestling type martial art in addition to your striking martial art, or just study the old school martial arts, because the old school martial arts teaches striking and wrestling together along with the use of self-defense tools.